So the next movie I'm going to review is Secret Window by Johnny Depp. By Johnny Depp. With Johnny Depp. I had an obsessive compulsion with Johnny Depp since I saw this movie for the first time. No, not this movie. Since I saw him in Crybaby for the first time. So I fell down a rabbit hole of watching every Johnny Depp movie, and Secret Window was one of them. Now, when I first watched this movie, I was like, holy shit. So the movie is currently on Tubi, but it's only on there for 2 more days. So if you're not gonna watch it in 2 days, it's probably gonna be off by the time I post this video. Honestly, it came out in 2004. It's an hour and 36 minutes long. Johnny Depp has blonde-ish hair in it. A writer enduring a bitter divorce is stalked by a deranged stranger who claims his story was stolen and seeks revenge at any cost. So, Mort Rainey is Johnny Depp's character. Weird ass name, but okay. We start off the movie with him finding his wife having an affair with one of their friends named Ted, I think, maybe. Douchebag. That's what I'm gonna call him, because he slept with a married woman. But anyway. Mort, oh my god. Johnny Depp's character has now living in a secluded cabin where he's been on like writer's block. And I think it's like 6 months after his divorce. Yeah, somewhere, not divorce, but like his processing of his divorce, separation, whatever it's called. And he has writer's block. This man comes to his door. Something Shooter, so I'm just gonna call him Shooter. He says, "You stole my story." Basically, fuck you, you stole my story. He's like, "No, I didn't." They're going back and forth. But this man is very polite in his words. Like, he feels like he's, like, intimidating, but he's not, if it makes sense. And he's like, "Yes, you stole my story." He's like, "No, I didn't." So they finally figure out that Mort had wrote his story 2 years before Shooter did. Shooter doesn't believe him. He wants proof. So Mort goes to sleep, and he wakes up and he finds that his dog has been murdered by Shooter. Yeah, I said that right. Johnny Depp goes to sleep and he wakes up and he finds out that his dog has been murdered by presumably Shooter. There are some twists and turns in this. Johnny Depp's character tries to get a magazine that would prove that he wrote his story first. And when he can't prove that he wrote this story, Shooter's like, "Just rewrite the story to my ending." His ending is where he kills the wife in the story. So skipping some details, but along the way, Mort's wife, her house burns down, which is their house. He like thinks it's Shooter, and then he thinks Shooter might have been hired by Ted, and he's trying to put it together. Then he hires a PI, and the PI is supposed to figure out who this guy is, and he's like, "Has anybody seen you talking to him? Has anybody seen him?" The guy who he sees talking to, the guy who's seen them talking, ends up dead, along with the PI. And Shooter's like, "You need to get rid of these bodies before the sheriff comes looking for you, and you need to prove that you wrote this story before I did." So he ends up getting a copy of a magazine that would prove that he wrote the story first, but the pages are ripped out. And this is when you start to realize that Mort is like not there. Mort is losing his mind. And Mort's talking to himself. Big twist, spoiler, whatever. Mort is Shooter. It's his mind, like, fractured. So his wife, supposed to be ex-wife, comes to the cabin to get him to sign the divorce papers, which he's not signing. And in the process, stuff goes down, fade to black, and we see what, in my opinion, is Shooter's personality in Mort's body take over. And he's not the same person. We don't know exactly what happened to his ex-wife and Ted, but they are not seen again. The sheriff basically warns him, like, hey, we know what you did, and we don't want you coming into town anymore. And he, like, goes to look out the secret window in the cabin over the garden, and you're, like, led to presume that he killed them and buried them there. And I'm just like, in my opinion, it feels like D.I.D., like, he split into two and the altar took over. But this movie, it, like, fucked my brain up when I first watched it. And I was like, are you serious? I loved it. In my opinion, it's a psychological horror movie, and it's great. So what are your thoughts on Secret Window? Please comment, like, subscribe, and let me know what you think.